Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Shekhar Iyer. Today we have with us Shekhar Iyer ji, and we're going to be taking a look at India's politics. And let's first welcome Shekhar Iyer ji. And before I even do that, please like this video because I'm going to share with you some breaking information about what is happening inside Russia. Lots of plots and subplots. I'll be doing all that. So kindly request you to like this video. And once I have Shekhar ji introduced, I'll first talk about what is happening in Russia. Shekhar ji, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel.
Namaskar, Shekhar Iyer ji.
Thank you so much, sir. And while you are getting ready with India stuff, I just want to take your permission to brief our viewers about what is exactly happening in Russia. Is there a coup on? Is it just one group that is trying to rebel? All that stuff I'm going to talk to. Sir, do I have your permission, sir? Can I just take 2 minutes?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
So viewers, stay with me because I'm going to go really quickly here because I don't want to waste a lot of your time. What is happening is that you know that there is a war on between Ukraine and Russia. Now, what Russia did was they outsourced some of the fighting to a mercenary group. And that group's name is called Wagner Army, Wagner. And now Wagner Army has been trying to fight the war for Russians in the eastern regions of Ukraine. Now, what is believed to have happened is that there are three stories here. What is believed to have happened is that this mercenary group felt that the Russian army bombed them inside Ukraine. So they want revenge. So now what we are hearing is that the Wagner army, which is spread again across not only Russia, but also in parts of Africa, they are trying to capture Moscow. 5,000 people strong force is headed, it's kind of stopped 1 hour away from the city of Moscow. Like, you can think of it like outskirts. And now what is happening is Moscow is trying to defend that. That is one thing. Okay. The second thing is that inside another city called Rostov-on-Don, and I'm going to show you a picture now. Let's have the picture, please. And this is the map of Russia. I hope I'm going to zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about. This is the city called Rostov-on-Don. This is the headquarters of the Southern Military Command of Russia. And fighting is going on here between Chechen forces, which are loyal to Russia, and the Wagner army, as they are trying to establish this as their headquarters. Why is this important? This is very, very close to Ukraine. If you can see me pan, this is I'm panning out and then panning back in. So this is the Black Sea. You can see that it is not, Rostov is not very far from Mariupol, and nor is it from Donetsk. And this, the map, this is the line that separates Ukraine from Russia. So this is where Wagner army is entrenched. Now, Ukraine also is counter-attacking, and they are trying to recapture this place called Crimea. Crimea is the small island here that I'm trying to zoom in on. You can see here, this is what they want to try and recapture. I hope I got it right. I'm doing too many things here. Yeah, that is Crimea. This is Crimea. This is what was occupied by Russia in 2014. So Ukraine is trying to get this back. And while this is all going on, the mercenary army, let's close it. The mercenary army that Russia was using has now turned against Russia, and they think that by quickly attacking and grabbing Moscow, that they can establish control. Now, the question is, why is this envoy not being challenged by the Russian forces? So I'm going to show you a quick video. This was taken, this is a part of the Wagner army convoy, and it is about 2 hours away. So this is about 1 hour old information. Now I'm told that the convoy has been stopped. So let's just take a quick look at that video, please.
Дорогу, видимо, пытались перекрыть на Москву. Вагнера, видимо, расхуячили, раскатали, блядь, гуслями нахуй. В ту сторону закрыто, а в эту видали, что натворили нахуй. Расхуярили. дорожников раздвинули, и колонна дальше пошла. Война.
Okay. Now, what is also happening is the residents of Moscow are getting automated phone calls telling them to come out on the streets and start demonstrating. And this is believed to be, again, there is no confirmation, this is being believed to be sent out from the Wagner group. How big is this army? This is just a mercenary group, 20,000 people strong, 30,000 people strong. How much is it? How many are near Moscow? What is the importance of that? It is also believed that Putin has left Moscow and he's in St. Petersburg. There are planes going back and forth between Moscow and St. Petersburg. What is that happening? All this is going to unravel itself in the next 24 hours. So stay tuned as to who will get the better hand or the upper hand in this mini skirmish within Russia itself, and whether Ukraine will take advantage of this and try to gain or even counterattack and get into Russia's property. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. So that's the update from me. And now let's join Shekhar Iyer ji. Shekhar ji, take it away, sir. What happened in the opposition meet?
Well, sir, this development in Russia is indeed quite disturbing. And for India, which imports nearly 40% of its crude requirement from Russia, we would be only looking at how much is Russia destabilized and how much is Putin under fire. And if indeed the Putin is going away from Moscow or fleeing Moscow, and those have to be confirmed, because at the moment we are buying at the rate of 1.95 million barrels a day, from them. Of course, we cut, buying from Iraq and even Saudi Arabia. The whole thing is that OPEC countries have even frozen production, rather they have cut production, which all makes for our worries only on the oil side, and also about our we are still dependent on Russia for arms supplies, arms spares, and one does wonder with the latest developments in Russia that the Prime Minister's visit to the United States could not have come at much better time, because it had to happen and several deals have taken place, particularly the defense deals, particularly to upgrade the Indian armed forces, their military hardware and even software. So I think those are very important developments, and Shri Iyer and Mr. PGurus both are going to keep us totally briefed on the developments. Now, the joke in India is when Alibaba was in the US, the rest of the 40 were in Patna. That's what they say. So what we saw was gathering of these 40, in fact, there were 32 leaders from 15 parties, and that included chief ministers, 5 chief ministers, Stalin, Mamata Banerjee, Hemant Soren, Arvind Kejriwal. You had Bhagwat Mann, who of Punjab, who is actually his pilot, who is this, because he takes the Punjab government aircraft wherever Kejriwal wants to go. So you can see that kind of gathering. But then it came as a anti-climax, because Kejriwal turned out to be the party spoiler, in the sense he spoke very hard and now not used to this kind of negotiations or engaging political parties on a on a platform like this. What we saw was Arvind Kejriwal, demanding that Congress particularly support his demand to oppose the ordinance which has troubled him a lot, which has nullified the Supreme Court order on the powers of his government. So we are told that there were very hard talk between Arvind Kejriwal and Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge, with Rahul Gandhi also being present there, and Rahul Gandhi saying that we will take decisions. Of course, we are united. We have forgotten the past. We want to work together with other opposition parties. But Kejriwal kept on insisting that if this Patna summit has to move forward, if the Patna meeting of the opposition parties has to take a concrete step forward, then it should express complete support for him and his party against the ordinance, which I think upset a lot of people, including the host, Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar, and they were surprised by this, infant terrible who has suddenly, showing all his claws, and he is in no mood to negotiate. That's the time when Mamata even suggested, these are matters to be sorted over a cup of tea and biscuit, as the normally, Bengalis love to discuss all issues under the sun over a cup of tea and biscuits, with a biscuit dipped in the tea now and then. So, but that there were no takers, in the sense that despite Mamata, because it was Mamata who had insisted that Nitish should include Arvind Kejriwal in this grouping of opposition leaders. But what turned out to be, uh, it was so glaring that on the day one, the first wicket had fallen. So you had a presser by all the leaders present, and Arvind Kejriwal did not even wait to say bye to his host. So he did not turn up, neither did Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwat Mann. So a seat reserved for Arvind Kejriwal on the stage was vacant. But then there was another absentee too. That was our Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin. One wonders why he didn't want to appear before the Patna press. There are several stories doing the round, Shekhar Iyer. One is that Stalin was so bored by the entire deliberations taking place in Hindi, with more than 30 leaders speaking in Hindi. I think there was nobody to even translate, because he was accompanied by T.R. Balu, whose knowledge of Hindi is as good as Nitish knowledge of Tamil.
So you mean it can be written on the back of a postage stamp?
So a lot of it was Greek and Latin to Stalin, and there was also an undercurrent of uneasiness, because the stories about what the DMK minister had said about the migrant Bihari labor in Tamil Nadu, and some one or two incidents, and they were rather worried that the Patna press could ask Stalin or quiz Stalin as to about these incidents, and probably that is the one reason he avoided the press. But definitely, though Stalin did not have problems, but Stalin was witness to the kind of the behavior of Kejriwal, and how Kharge was trying to say that, look, this is not a forum to discuss what position we should take in Parliament when the bill to replace the ordinance comes. We can discuss it when the monsoon session is called, and there are usually meetings between opposition parties. And what I am told is Rahul Gandhi did not like the tenor of Kejriwal's tone, the way he was speaking and saying that this is the forum, this should be done, and that if this does not happen, we are actually not part of it anymore. And sir, before even the press conference by Nitish Kumar started, along with all these leaders, Aam Aadmi Party had issued a full statement explaining its position, saying that they would not be party to any further deliberation if Congress is part. And the next meeting is in Shimla, where actually now whatever they intended to do in Patna, and they didn't, because of what had happened. Now the whole thing gets shifted to Shimla, and it is over to the Congress, which means the Congress has successfully taken control of these opposition unity moves, which is the most interesting thing that has happened. Because Nitish Kumar was only a proxy for Congress from the beginning, and that became amply clear, because the next meeting is in Shimla, and it will be, the focus would be on Kharge. Now it is up to Kharge now, under Congress, under his leadership and that of the Congress, to forge a unity of opposition party. Now, how this is going to happen in the future, we have to see.
A lot of stuff happening, sir. But one thing that I'm just guessing here, connecting the dots here, it is very possible that Aam Aadmi Party was trying to reach out to Congress to get support for its cause in this ordnance thing. Because I think that ordnance essentially renders the Aam Aadmi Party toothless. They cannot anymore make money from the surplus city-state that Delhi is, and therefore they think that if they cannot overturn that, then it is game over, because they will not have the money power. Now I'm just guessing, and I'm also guessing, looking at all the stuff, that Aam Aadmi Party was trying to reach the top leadership of Congress, meaning Rahul Gandhi, and he was not taking their calls. Therefore, they had only one place, one time chance to get face to face in front of the Congress leadership to try and make their case. I'm just again connecting the dots, and that's why this guy went full blast. I don't care about opposition right now. My future is at stake. I want you to support me. Blah 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 blah. I'm thinking this is what happened. So you can comment if my guessing is wrong.
So in the run-up to this Patna meeting, Kejriwal had been to every state capital of these opposition states. He met Mallikarjun Kharge. He met Mamata, he went to Chennai, met Stalin, he went to Hyderabad, met KCR. He had been pleading with them. And his thrust of his argument was, look, though Delhi is a union territory and the Modi government has done to him, to his government, this could happen even with other states, full-fledged states. But I don't think there were many people willing to buy that, whether some similar thing would happen, because the powers of the state and center are very clear when it comes to full-fledged states. So only question of Delhi particularly, even other union territories, the matter is clear. It is only the question of Delhi the problem is. And sir, at Patna meeting, Kejriwal tried to say that, look, the Congress grouse is that Aam Aadmi Party expanded and grew in Delhi at the cost of the Congress. Its success in Punjab was also at the cost of the Congress, and it spoiled its chances in Gujarat. So therefore, why should we come to aid of Arvind Kejriwal when we have suffered under Aam Aadmi Party? So at the Patna meeting, Kejriwal said, look, Aam Aadmi Party is now committed to oppositionity, and it will not expand in states at the cost of oppositionity. It means there could be a change in the strategy of Aam Aadmi Party for the sake of unity of the opposition. But then, but the condition was we would do that if Congress announces support for ordinance. And Rahul Gandhi did not like this condition business. Look, here we are to discuss the broad spectrum of opposition unity, and you are insisting on condition. And for Kejriwal personally, it was very frustrating, despite his one-to-one meeting with all these leaders, and traveling to so many state capitals. Everybody was backing the Congress rather than him. And though Stalin had promised support in Chennai, he was also silent, and probably Stalin could not even, as I said, that there was difficulty for Stalin to understand the proceedings at some stage. And I am told Stalin was also not very happy with the kind of food that was served and the kind of other hospitalities. And he was very keen to return, though they were saying that we would go. And one more thing, sir. This was the first meeting where Mamata was present, in a meeting where the communists were also present, particularly Sitaram Yechury. But Mamata spoke soon after Nitish Kumar, and rather soon after, I must say, the order was Nitish Kumar spoke first, but then he had not come prepared with some kind of introductory remarks to say what has happened. Somehow some planning seemed to be going amiss. Is it just because of the outburst of Kejriwal at the meeting, or what? Or nothing concrete could be crystallized? But definitely it appeared the way he, the anchored that presser saw that Nitish making some remarks, then turning to Rahul Gandhi, please say something. It seemed as if Nitish was desperate that Rahul should say something. Of course, Rahul said, asked Mallikarjun case, then Rahul spoke. Of course, the basic thing was the same thing that they have been saying, that, we have to fight BJP, and we'll have to see that Prime Minister Modi does not return to power, etc. etc. After that, Mamata spoke. Now, of course, Mamata said this could be the last election if we don't, get the BJP out of power and things like that. And then after she spoke, and within few minutes, she left the place, saying that she had to take the flight back to Kolkata. Then it was later only, Sitaram Yechury spoke. Somehow it appeared as if the left parties, particularly Sitaram Yechury, who normally plays a big, behind the scene role, as well as sometimes help in preparing the drafts, those introductory remarks, he kept a low profile, because last time when they are working on choosing, the president and the vice president candidates, you saw that Mamata was very upset that Yechury had already prepared a draft. And she even said, why is Yechury preparing the draft without consulting us? But here it was, then I even in the seating arrangement, Pawar was seated to one corner, you had Akhilesh Yadav on the corner. But in the deliberations, what came clear was, Akhilesh Yadav was saying, look, we'll have to put one candidate against the BJP. But in states like UP, where the principal party, the main party which is stronger, should be left to fight, which means the others should accept the leadership of the Samajwadi Party. Similarly, Stalin made one point, which I am told is that you leave it to the party which is strong to work out whatever local formula, which means nobody should tell DMK that how many seats it wants to allot to the Congress. There cannot be a national formula. There cannot be one formula. We will work out our own formula and left different states and different formulas. So one can already see that uneasiness. And the same is the position with Mamata. Because Mamata, though they did not take up specifically the issue, but the idea is that she was saying, look, in Bengal and I am there. And she is in no mood to concede any seat to either the Congress or in left because of their alliance. And there's one more thing that we have to take notice, that among other parties, Sharad Pawar or Uddhav Thackeray, I mean, beyond their general, pronouncements like we'll have to fight the BJP, we'll have to work together, and things like that. Nothing concrete. But I am surprised. This meeting was built up as a, the beginning of the great opposition unity to fight Prime Minister Modi. Yet they decided to put it off to next meeting, which will be held around July 10th or 12th. That is after the Panchayat elections in Bengal, which is already turning to be very violent prone, because Trinamool workers have been on the rampage, and all that court, running to Supreme Court and High Court to get the central forces, which are not being properly deployed, which all goes to show that when it comes to their own turf, each of these parties who participated in this Patna summit or Patna meeting, they are not willing to accommodate anybody else. I mean, they are talking of unity, but it more, they seem to be in the belief that this is something they should not apply to their own state, rather make general pronouncement. So therefore, one wonders what happened. I mean, what was purpose of it? Of course, those who are very impressed with this meeting think that, Congress has taken over. It's and now Mallikal Kharge, given his seniority, and he will be able to bring the opposition parties together. But one thing is clear, Aam Aadmi Party will not be part of this unity move. So as I said, one wicket has fallen already. Now, as to others, we are going to see there will be more meetings and more meetings. But one thing is coming clear, sir, Shekhar, which is Congress is not willing to commit itself to any formula for the time being, till at least the elections are over in those 4 states. That is Telangana, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh. For a simple reason, it feels that if it were to do or repeat the performance it did in Karnataka, its bargaining power would be more. So therefore, the Congress can be more assertive and tell all these parties, look, I'm the boss, I've come back with full strength. So I think Congress also is rather biding time till those assembly elections are over.
Thank you so much, sir. Thus far, in any of these strategies, confabulations, they had 2 stalwarts on Congress side. One, of course, became President Pranab Da. The other one was Ahmed Patel, and he has met his maker now. And Sonia is too sick now to be able to participate in day-to-day discussions. Who do you see as a key emerging figure in the Congress party? Because Rahul cannot be that person. It has to be somebody else who, they call his formulations. That's the word that, KCR used to make joke of Pranab Mukherjee when this Andhra Pradesh, Telangana bifurcation was being talked about. Every day he'll call for formulations and there's that. And so now, who is that Pranab Da in the Congress party, in your opinion?
Well, I think it is going to be Mallikarjun Kharge and nobody else, being the Congress president, and the fact that the next meeting itself will be under the auspices of the Congress. The Congress ruled Himachal Pradesh in Shimla. So I don't see any other leader can be there other than Kharge himself, who would be directly taking instructions from Rahul Gandhi as well as from Sonia Gandhi. But if it is going to be Congress-controlled exercise, the moment you start using word formulations for formula, one can understand that it is moving from concrete to abstract, because that means you are not getting anywhere. So therefore, the formula is much more, I would say, more concrete way of looking at how many seats to contest, which are the constituencies where a particular party is stronger than other parties. Now, that kind of exercise would require a lot of scientific analysis of the past results. Of course, we are told some analysis has already been done by the Nitish team, and probably with the Kejriwal away from the seat, there will be more serious deliberation in the cool environments of Shimla before monsoon lashes out. I'm told today Shimla it is already raining heavily. So weather being what it is and weather being inclement, particularly in the hills, even this political deliberations could be quite stormy because parties, I don't see anybody wants to, have a working, they don't see Congress giving them any benefit. The regional parties, that is DMK included. When Stalin proposed in Patna that you leave it to us, we will decide our formula, that goes to show that, they want to decide how many seats to be given to the Congress, whether it is 10 or 8 or whatever. They won 8 last time. Maybe he will give them 10, that's all. And if Rahul Gandhi is one of the candidates to contest from Tamil Nadu, maybe a couple of seats more. Otherwise, I can't see DMK making concession. And Mamata, as we have discussed several times, Mamata is one who is, or she, under one pretext or the other, she is not going to, give any seats to the Congress or to the left. Certainly not to the left to contest the elections. So that leaves a scenario where there are, in the states, they must be accommodative. There's going to be no accommodation. Whether it is Uttar Pradesh or Bengal, there will be no understanding. And let's come to states like, say, Maharashtra. Maharashtra is a scene which is constantly under flux. We have already seen what has happened to Sharad Pawar's party. Sharad Pawar made Supriya Sule his successor, made her working president. After a couple of weeks of silence, now Ajit Pawar has declared that he is fed up with his role of leader of opposition. He wants his party to find somebody else so that he can play some other role, which is a way of telling his uncle Sharad Pawar that, look, you did not give me any post, you did not give me any responsibility on the ground that I already have a post. In fact, Sharad Pawar was quite open about it, that he had not assigned any new areas of responsibility to Ajit Pawar because he is already leader of the opposition. Now, Ajit Pawar says, I don't want to be any more leader of the opposition. So you can see that this is that there are internal problems within parties who are part of this front. So accepting the fact that they are against that Alibaba, the others cannot agree on anything else. And one expected from Patna at least a resolution condemning ED, central agencies and all that. Nothing of that kind happened. Excepting individual leaders were left to say that press conference that the Modi is using central agencies against us and things like that. But there were no general formulation or acceptance of view as to what are the issues that they're going to take on the Prime Minister Modi, what are the issues. But we were all told, no, this is the first meeting, so they just did PR. And much more, sir, the most, the hilarious part, I must say, was as if that was a subject under the discussion. Openly, Lalu looked at Rahul Gandhi and said, look, you must get married soon. And your mother is worried, you are not listening to your mother, you must get married soon. And Rahul Gandhi was taken aback that his matrimonial prospects are being, more than electoral prospects are being discussed openly at a press conference. And Lalu said, look, you do it. Don't delay it and we will join, we'll come in the Bharat party. And we will come in the Bharat party as a very interesting, because earlier in the day, I heard Sushil Modi, the BJP leader in Bihar, saying, look, what kind of opposition meeting is this? Bharat पे निकल गए लेकिन दुल्हन कौन है पता नहीं है और कह रहे कि जैसे बारात पार्टी आगे निकलेगी दुल्हन सामने आ जाएगा. And Lalu here at the end of this conference, he says, look, Rahul, आप शादी जल्दी कर लो ताकि हम भी बारात पे आ जाए और बाकी बात सुन लो. And for once, I must say, sir, Rahul handled it well, though he was a bit taken aback by this, and everybody was, having their good laugh over Lalu's typical, the Joker style comment. Rahul said, "ठीक है, अभी आपने कह दिया तो हो जाएगा." So he left it at that. But well, all other leaders were so serious about it. This thing coming there, and that was the only thing which perhaps rather relaxed that moment. Otherwise, people were talking about Kejriwal's boycott of the press conference, whether Kejriwal walked out. And of course, nobody made a big mention of Stalin there, but definitely Stalin's absence was also noticed. That why he chose not to stay in that press conference, having traveled all the way from Chennai. As has been speculated, probably he didn't want the issue of the problems faced by the migrant labor in Tamil Nadu. That was one. And I'm told one more thing, sir, because that many leaders took the opportunity of Stalin's presence in Patna to ask about Senthil Balaji as to what had exactly happened and things like that. Because it was T.R. Balu who had got all these leaders to issue a statement condemning the arrest of Senthil Balaji. Till then, they didn't know who was Senthil Balaji. So they thought they should ask what happened to him, who is he, why there is. Of course, Stalin, given his handicap of being not knowing Hindi, and he didn't have the energy in whatever English he knows to explain about Senthil Balaji. And why is his arrest so worrisome for him?
So circus atmosphere. So let me understand from Congress's perspective. This is what I'm thinking, sir, and please feel free to correct me. Congress's template that got them back to power in Karnataka is certainly worrying parties such as DMK, TMC, and so on, even perhaps Telangana, because they think that Congress did some subliminal messaging, Bajrang Dal, that essentially wiped out the regional party. I mean, from 32 to 19 is a big drop for JDS. And if the same kind of message resonates in their states, so they have, first of all, an external adversary, which is BJP, and then they have an internal adversary, which is Congress. So if something like this happens, then let us say that Congress, that's what they intend to do. And let us also say that somehow by magic, they are going to pull Madhya Pradesh. We know Chhattisgarh, they'll come back most likely. We know that Rajasthan, they'll lose most likely. So the middle point is Madhya Pradesh. And if somehow they can announce freebies or whatever and repeat a Karnataka in Madhya Pradesh, then this problem will be real. They say, oh my God, these guys know how to message to the minority community. I am seeing that thing vanish like thin air. Right? So do you think that is why Congress is playing slow now?
Definitely, sir, not for the reason that how it will impact in the states where they are going to have understanding or arrangement, rather in overall terms as to the bargaining capacity and the bargaining methods that the Congress would adopt when it comes to adjustments and alliances. Because if already one is seeing that yesterday morning when Rahul Gandhi, before he came for the conclave of opposition leaders, Rahul Gandhi went to the old Congress office in Patna, which is called 𝙒𝙤𝙤𝙤𝙤. And there he addressed a speech, and people in Patna told me it's a long time, decades that this ACC, or the Pradesh Congress Committee office in Patna has come alive with so many people landing that to hear Rahul Gandhi. And Rahul Gandhi made it very clear that what we have achieved in Karnataka is a very big thing, and that will be repeated in state after state, and ultimately we will ensure the end of Modi regime. And he spoke with a lot of fervor and with lot of aggression, and making it very clear that this is the new Congress party. And Congress workers were very happy to see Rahul Gandhi give such a strong speech. But that kind of a strong speech and that kind of a appearance that Congress is still very high on Karnataka, though Karnataka is already facing problems. The new government in Karnataka is facing problems. There are challenges. But nevertheless, for Rahul, still high on Karnataka victory, which means that it is going to be difficult for these parties to tell Congress, look, don't be so assertive. Whatever seats we can offer, you accept. That is not going to happen. I feel if the Congress wins in all the 4 states, Rahul would be very much tempted, even in these states, to go ahead and put up his candidates. Now, Janata Dal's problem is not worried about Congress revival in Bihar. Rather, because Congress is still very weak, notwithstanding the mood in Pradesh Congress Committee offices in 𝙒𝙤𝙤𝙤 in Patna. Rather, Janata Dal's happiness, rather Nitish was unhappy that it was BJP which cut his party to sight in the assembly election. It's BJP which reduced the numbers for him. That was his anger. But definitely an assertive Congress, and as you mentioned, what will be the choice of the minorities. Say in Telangana, for instance, that's why KCR has completely stayed away. And I don't see KCR, going to attend any of the meeting. And he was not even invited here because he doesn't want to see a situation where a Congress-initiated conclave or somebody being assigned by the Congress to get the opposition parties together, getting his cooperation. That is not going to be there. So therefore, one does see that or anything concrete may not happen on the opposition front in terms of deals on alliances or seats to contest, though formulations may be discussed again in Shimla, but I don't think it will add to any real term agreement or formula, because Congress would wait for these round of four assembly elections.
So let us now set aside the opposition issues and now look at what Modi might try and do post his very successful trip to United States. The optics were certainly excellent. I will give that. The action on the ground, it will take some time. So he'll always say, yeah, it's happening, it's happening. But we don't know about that. Anyway, we are going to give you a reality check tomorrow where Rajiv Malhotra, not tomorrow, Monday, 8 p.m. viewers, where Rajiv Malhotra ji is joining me and he will be talking about how he sees this whole US versus India play. So that will be a totally different kind of a perspective. So do join us for that. Now, let us take a quick look at what BJP might do. So Modi wants to celebrate his successful trip to United States in India. So he might be able to, take all the optics. In fact, the person who sang the national anthem, she actually touched his feet. So it's a very nice gesture. See, the thing about this is, in US, right, touching somebody's feet is considered something like, you are completely admitting defeat, rather than how Sanatana Dharma says it, where when you touch someone's feet, what you are asking for is the wisdom that the other person has gained, one, and the second thing is that you are completely letting go of all your ego. Sashta Anga Namaskar. Sashta Ashta is the 8 different parts of your body, everything touching the ground, and your hand touches the feet of the other person. That is the real meaning of that. But anyway, so what I'm trying to say is these are all small things that the media is picking up and I think, wow, this happened. I don't think this was stage managed. Nobody can go and tell somebody you have to do this. You see what I'm saying, Shekharji? So there is a lot of import there. How he's going to make use of that in the elections, I don't know. Perhaps you can enlighten us.
Well, Shriyarji, the Prime Minister has instructed his cabinet colleagues to speak about or explain to public at large as to what happened in Washington, what were the deals, what are the significant developments that are going to take place following these agreements. So yesterday we had Smriti Irani speaking about it. Today we had Hardeep Puri, who himself is a former India's permanent representative at the UN and who has had several experience in dealing with Americans. So as a diplomat, he also explained as to what has happened. Then we had the Indian Foreign Secretary also, Vinay Mohan Kwatra, to explain what has happened in the last 2 days in the US. The basic thing that is being conveyed, and Prime Minister himself chose to explain some of the finer aspects of these agreements and the discussions he has had with President Biden when he addressed the Indian diaspora at the Reagan Foundation engagement, where he specifically said what is going to happen in different fields, whether it is space, whether it is semiconductor technology, whether it is defense or strategic matters, or between NASA and ISRO, what is going to happen. Then about visas, visas is one of the most worrying things for many Indians, particularly the H1B1 visa, how they need not go all the way, they don't have to come back to get their visa renewed. Even Prime Minister explained that this is going to solve a lot of problem. And then this opening up of consulates. You will have an Indian consulate in Seattle, and then the US consulates would come up in Bangalore and Ahmedabad and maybe a couple of other cities also. What is going to happen, sir? This will ease in terms of travels to the US, particularly by students. Even that was also discussed during the two leaders meeting, where it is since a lot of Indians apply for admission to the American universities and visa is an issue. Some of them before the academic year, since they can't get a slot for an interview, some of them have gone to Bangkok for those interviews. Some even went to Manila for interview because it was overbooked in Delhi, Chennai, and other places in India, other consulates or Mumbai. So you can see that these are some things which are immediate meaning, and they feel that the easing of these, the process for getting visa. This itself is a big news. And one more thing, particularly the semiconductor areas relating to investment that is going to be made by Micron in a plant in Gujarat, and followed by the LAM group, agreeing to undertake training of 60,000 engineers in the chip technology. These are very concrete examples of how there is going to be a technology transfer, and how it is going to help in the reskilling of Indian technical people, as well as how it will open up new avenues and opportunities in terms of joint projects. That has also been highly hailed as a very important development, and it is also sending a message that that's why the Indian Foreign Secretary summed up the whole thing in one way. He said this visit of Prime Minister Modi to United States ends the era of denying technology to India. You had first when Indira Gandhi had the Pokhran 1. Since then, there were sanctions on India, strong, technology control regimes to ensure that none of the allies or the US, gave any technology that could have a defense spin-off or a strategic spin-off. And same thing happened in '98 when Vajpayee ji, within days of his taking over as the Prime Minister, went ahead with the promise that was mentioned in the BJP manifesto to go for a second nuclear test. And with that, they completely capped all that needed to be done in terms of developing our own nuclear weaponization program. Now, that also saw a flurry of sanctions on India. I mean, there was spate of action from Japan to Canada to even Americans were very upset. But that era ended when the Indo-US nuclear waiver was given following that agreement. That started with the Prime Minister Manmohan Singh's visit to the US, and of course things did not move forward in the Indo-US nuclear deal for the simple reason American companies were wary of the liability issues, and since they could not get any waiver on those on those areas, so actually did not move forward. Rather, the Russian built plants like Kudankulam, they went full steam, and Jayalalitha also helped in clearing the protests that were going on by some vested interests to prevent these plants going fully operative. So Jayalalitha struck a deal with the center, and she ensured the first 2,000 megawatts from Kudankulam 1 was entirely available for Tamil Nadu, and the second unit of 2,000 megawatt was available for the national for distribution via the national grid. So we have seen all this, and now with so many agreements, in fact, the government of India has come up with a long from the joint statement. They have picked up points which they want the ministers to talk about it, to explain about it, to say how there is going to be a strengthening of the semiconductor supply. Then there is going to be a critical mineral partnership, particularly which will help in electrical vehicle battery components. Then there is advanced telecommunication, particularly the available of open radio access network for further expanding the 5G as well as 6G technologies for telecommunication. That's being talked about. Then this NASA ISRO the collaboration, where there's going to be advanced training for ISRO astronauts, and they are talking of an international space station in 2024. And by end of 2023, I think this is what the Prime Minister Modi is very keen to have a human space flight by end of this year. I think that's a very important agreement. And apart from that, there are other things also, sir, which is in terms of what I would call of great interest to Indians is there is going to be transfer of technology in quantum, advanced computing, artificial intelligence, which Modi called it America, India, and he got a T-shirt also with that. His speech, his quote from his speech to the US Congress. Then there is going to be something called, of course, the defense partnership. We know about the General Electric agreement on jet engines. Then service and repair of US Navy ships. And there is going to be an arrangement at Kattupalli, which is near Madras, near Chennai, for servicing the US Navy ships when they are on visits in the Indian Ocean area. Then apart from that, sir, there is going to be collaboration in the health side also. You're going to see US National Cancer Organization is going to have collaboration with the Indian Cancer, with the Indian Council of Medical Research. Those are areas which are very people-centric. That is, the US National Cancer Institute will foster collaboration between the two scientists using artificial intelligence for automated radiotherapy. I think that's a lot of interest to uh, thousands of cancer patients in India who are looking forward to technology being available at much cheaper cost. That's a very important thing. You're going to have a US National Institute of Diabetes, digestive and kidney diseases setting up collaborations. So there are a lot of people-centric things which the Prime Minister wants his ministers to talk about it, to show that, look, this visit was not just about defense or strategic matters or about the China. It's rather about a lot of people-to-people benefit flow.
Now let us take some questions, please. Mr. Bharani wants to know, if there is a blockade of Russia oil and fertilizer to us and China, what sort of inflationary trends are we going to see? 2 times fuel price in India can tilt the 2024 in favor of opposition.
I mean, if we are looking at a worst case scenario in Russia, I mean, if something happens to Putin or there is a complete chaos in Russia, that is definitely going to affect crude supplies, and that will be very, very worrisome. But it is too early to make any doomsday prediction. But this is a scenario that is going to, that what might happen is we might increase our supplies from our traditional partners. And it could be even the US, because in the current discussion also there was a talk of US. India continues to buy US oil too, because from Alaska there have been shipments coming to India. US is self-sufficient in fossil fuels, so there is no problem, immediate problems, and definitely the OPEC could be then persuaded to increase their output. In fact, they were upset and they cut the production because the Russian crude being sold at a cheap rate was affecting their profit margins. That was one of the reasons. So what we could see is, if there is a cut down in Russian supplies, India would officially turn to to OPEC countries and also to the US to help in stabilizing the price, because Americans would again then would need to, as they've done before. In fact, last time when the OPEC was raising prices, the Washington used its good offices to temper them, saying that they could not allow the world economy to go into a tailspin on account of crude prices.
Next question, please. Pawan Kishore wants to know, why is there a sudden decline in BJP in Telangana? Is it true that BRS and BJP would ally? What can be the stand of Owaisi if they ally?
Well, Pawanji, it is not that the BJP campaign has been on the decline. It is KCR who has toned down his criticism of Prime Minister Modi. Ever since the ED had closed in on his daughter Kavita, we have seen that leaders like KCR himself, his son KTR also, they have been saying, look, this opposition strategy of targeting one person or personality-oriented attacks is not going to help the opposition, which means don't be targeting Prime Minister Modi. And Prime Minister Modi cannot be the sole subject of our campaign for us to unite to get the BJP out of power. And what more, when you came to Nagpur, KCR was asked about how is his relation with Modi. He said they are very good. We discuss frequently, which many of us know cannot be true, given it was not long ago that they were in KCR was attacking the Prime Minister Modi every day. So what we are seeing is probably KCR has realized that he need to now look at this new threat coming from the Congress, and that is why he has probably piped it down. On the other hand, what we are hearing about Andhra Pradesh, interestingly, Sheyarji, Congress was initially persuading Sharmila, the estranged sister of Jagannath Reddy, that she should merge her party with the Congress.
Yes, there is talk of that. We published a story also.
And she was told that she should merge it in Andhra Pradesh, so that she can lead the Congress in Andhra Pradesh against her own brother. And as far as Telangana was concerned, she was told, you are a newcomer in Telangana, you don't have much of a big say in Telangana. I mean, you can't, so, leave the Telangana to us. You concentrate in Andhra Pradesh. But I don't think Sharmila has agreed to any of these proposals of the Congress. And in fact, she is insisting on that Congress enter into a deal with her party in Telangana. And she is not keen about Andhra Pradesh at this stage.
Next question, please. Thank you, Amit. Hello, sir. Seeing Shivaji Singh now pulling up his sleeves with bulldozer activities and activate Hindu stance, you can see a turnaround in MP elections. Who is Shivaji Singh, sir?
I think he's referring to Shivraj Singh Chauhan, Madhya Pradesh
Shivraj
Chief
Singh.
Minister.
Oh, okay.
Well, every BJP Chief Minister thinks he must emulate the example set by Yogi Adityanath of Uttar Pradesh, who has shown that he is tough on lawbreakers, he is tough on these mafia groups, he is tough on people who have been terrorizing others. If there are pending cases, the first of all the Yogi's administration does is look at their property, whether it's on illegal land or whether it is occupied land, and then the bulldozers come rolling. And that action has been quite popular. Of course, Shivraj Singh has similarly done in one or two occasions. But Shivraj Singh Chauhan attempt at this stage, to show that he's a tough leader like Yogi Adityanath, I don't know how much it will carry conviction at this stage, because Hindutva is the flavor of both the parties in Madhya Pradesh. BJP as well as Congress, and Kamal Nath is trying to simply copy whatever BJP does. Temple runs, he even had Priyanka inaugurate the Congress campaign from the banks of the river Narmada. And earlier Digvijay had done a Narmada Parikrama, had set on foot along the banks of the river as a sort of a pilgrimage. So you can see that it's in the air. And the only problem is, sir, Shivraj Singh Chauhan has done 4 terms. That is, he has been 20 years as Chief Minister. So one can imagine, from 2003 onwards. So there are a lot of anti-incumbency issues, but then there is a paucity of leadership. If at all Shivraj Singh Chauhan has to be replaced by some other new face, that is not there right now, and nobody even talking about it. Because the idea is all those things will come after the elections. Once the elections are over, they'll talk about it, because there are problems with getting the various factions in Madhya Pradesh to work together. In Congress also, Kamal Nath is in command because the Congress High Command has left it him to spend money and do whatever it takes to get as many MLAs as possible, win the elections. So there also again the problem is there are other leaders in the Congress who will play second fiddle to Kamal Nath for financial reasons. But then it is not easy for Congress also, just as it is quite tough for BJP.
Does Digvijay Singh still have his war chest, do you think?
Yes, I think Digvijay is not a person who will easily give up. But then right now it is Kamal Nath who is the captain of that campaign there.
Amit Karnik wants to know, follow-up question. Thank you, Amit. Sir, any chance of president rule in West Bengal before 2024?
No, I do not think there will be any question of president rule. But then it is more than the center. It is the Kolkata High Court which has been coming down heavily on Mamata and their government, whether it comes to corruption or whether it comes to holding a free and fair panchayat election. We have seen Kolkata High Court has been giving directives after directives, and as usual, Mamata and her party have been trying to somehow avoid following the directives from the Kolkata High Court. And somehow panchayat elections have become so crucial for Mamata, where our party is known to command 90% of panchayats, even in the previous elections. In terms of structure, there is not a problem. But then there are internal problems within the factions of Trinamool. Sometimes they fight each other, they shoot at each other, they throw bombs at each other.
Next question, please. Rahul Rathod wants to know, what impact if Wagner takeover of Russia will have on India, and will Wagner use nuclear weapons on Ukraine if they succeeded in removing Putin?
Well, Wagner is right now not bothered about Ukraine. He is bothered about Moscow. So that itself is going to take a long time. And if he were to succeed, I think the project Ukraine would would be dropped, because consolidating. But I don't think Wagner would have that kind of resources at his command to create so much of a problem. I would rather expect Putin to somehow remobilize his forces and come down heavily on Wagner. This is my reading.
Absolutely, sir. This is a small area. What Wagner is hoping is that there will be an uprising within the Russian army. And that I don't think is going to happen. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. They're just two small spots, and that much has to be done before that. Next one, please. Arun wants to know, ask Sri, a lot of doctors are complaining about IITians going out of India and doing work at home like founders of Zoho. Why are they not being encouraged for national digital infrastructure? Arun, it's just the procedural challenges that are there in India. It's not so easy to set up something and run. Everybody wants to have a cut. Today, no real estate transaction happens in India without somebody getting a cut. I'm not talking about the broker. Broker would have worked because he brings the seller and the buyer together. I'm talking about the party in power wants a cut in this. What do they have? Nothing. Then why do they want a cut? Because there's a big money involved. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on. Just like that, even in companies, for every approval or something, there are 4 different departments to contact. It is still not easy. It is still not easy. I'm just waiting to see. See, one thing you have to see, where is all the new money going in? New projects. Vedanta, Gujarat. Macron, Gujarat. Google, Gujarat. Do you see a trend here? That's the point. Next one, please. Considering Microsoft and other US companies are military contractors as well, are there any protections for Indian interests when they are involved in national infrastructure? Usually there will be, but I don't think Microsoft and other US companies are going to wage anything where they'll destabilize India. There is no reason for them to do that. See, India has a good pool of talented workforce. That's what they are after. They are trying to average their costs by having better pool of people, perhaps not as productive as the ones in US, but there's always grunt work that needs to be done in software. That's where India comes in handy. Sridharji, you want to add something to that? I'm just going on and on.
No, sir. I think you are right. The Microsoft or any other US companies are not going to pose any problems for India. Rather, they want to make a good investment and make good money out of projects that are right now available in India. And India is showing a huge potential. Yes, there are issues in terms of governance, which the Prime Minister Modi has been constantly working at to see that ease of business improves. In fact, every year we have seen that India has been rising on that index, ease of business index. Of course, there are states where the problems that you just mentioned about cuts and greasing of palms is still there, which is what is that there is still corruption in the system, which is aided by political parties which are in power, particularly the regional parties. Because if it is very difficult to do business in Tamil Nadu or Bengal or right now in Karnataka after the Congress has come to power, there are problems. There are no doubt problems. But then that is why Modi has always been encouraging the states in India to compete with one another to attract investment, which he calls it as healthy cooperative federalism. Let the states compete and get their business. Let the states show that they are willing to make things easier for investors, easier for entrepreneurs. This is a new concept he has been constantly encouraging and promoting.
Thank you so much, Pawan Kishore. Thank you so much, Amit Karnik, for becoming a YouTube member. Krishan Kishore, let's make this the last question. Sir, why not make all Bangladesh bordering places as union territory so China borders? Special thanks to Sriji.
Well, I don't think making them union territory is a solution to the problem that we face on the border, particularly illegal smuggling, to drug trafficking and things like that. Well, the idea is, or that the best practice would be to see that our border force or the border guards or the border security force, they do their work more consciously, and the state government, particularly the state government of Bengal. And in Bengal, we have had complaints coming from how a lot of these operators who are indulging in smuggling and other security issues, they belong to the ruling party of Trinamool. So that is where we need to tackle those issues. Similarly, in Punjab, we have seen how drugs have been delivered in drones, by handlers on either side. I think those are areas which need to be curbed further. And a crackdown has been on. We just saw a crackdown on all drug operators in Delhi a couple of days ago. And these drug operators in places like Delhi, they get their supplies from these places.
Yes, indeed. And that brings us to a close of today's program. Do kindly tune in, listen to PGurus. If you are not following me on Twitter, do follow me at @𝙒𝙖𝙪1, because I will be updating on what is happening in Russia. Next 24 hours are crucial. There may be an update or two also. Shekharji, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to talk to us today. We'll be back again Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. with Shekharji. Once again, namaskar. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications.
Namaskar. Thank you.